There are different techniques of performance testing. Load testing is the first type of performance testing which is used to test the performance of any application. Let's discuss load testing in detail. In load testing, you put the load on application by sending concurrent requests at same time and see how the application responds. The main objective to perform load testing is to find out how much load the website can take before the website goes slow and to know the actual capacity of application. Load testing is important to perform before launching the application on production because there will be peak times when a lot of customers are going to use application at the same time. For example, during festival days or if there is any sale or discounts available. How can you perform load testing? Firstly, you can test by sending normal load that can be easily handled by the application. For example, you have an e-commerce website and you need to predict the normal load for your website. Like if you send 50 concurrent requests at a time, then that are handled easily with no delay. Then you can gradually increase the load from 50 to 100 requests at a time and so on. This way, you can find the maximum load at which the application is getting slower in response time and when can your application break, when real users will use it simultaneously. And you checked that your application is working fine at 100 or 200 requests at a time. Now, you want to also test how it will behave if you send 1,000 requests at a time. That you can perform through load testing. Moreover, you will also find the issues while sending 1,000 requests that will help you to improve your site. When you are aware of the system limitations, then the solutions will be easily identified to resolve them. Sometimes the code written by developers are very complex, due to which the application is taking too much time to respond on the request. If you properly perform load testing, you can find the exact issues and refactor your code accordingly to minimize the response time. The load testing is mainly performed for web applications, and it is better to perform it through automation because if you try to send concurrent requests manually, it's very difficult. And through automation, you can have different types of test data and more test coverage to check the performance of whole application. And in automation, you can record the responses at different times for comparison. Process to do load testing. Here are few steps that you can follow to perform load testing. First is requirements gathering. During discussions on project requirements gathering, identify the key performance indicators for the load testing which are important based on your application. For example, number of users, response time, requests or hits per second, throughput, memory utilization, CPU utilization, etc. Next is identify real scenarios. Identify how users interact with your application. What are the critical scenarios and the resources you have, like database connection, APIs, network connectivity, any hardware or specific types of devices. Prepare all test scenarios to execute for load testing. Then establish a baseline. You need to execute all test cases to set the baseline. Baseline is like a benchmark to analyze the performance. After completion of execution, the metrics are compared with baseline to verify the results. For example, you set the baseline that your application should respond 10 requests in a second. Now, in your actual execution, the application is taking 2 seconds to respond to 10 requests. In that case, you need to check why there is a delay of 1 second. Next is automation and execution. Choose any automation tool and automate those identified test case scenarios. Integrate those test cases with CI/CD tools to execute regularly without any manual interventions. For regular checks, you can perform small tests when the developer merge any code, just to verify that it does not impact the overall performance of the application. There are different tools available for load testing. Apache JMeter is the most popular tool and it's open source. Selenium is also available for load testing. Even JMeter and Selenium can be used together to perform load testing. We have other tools like Load Runner, WebLoad, NeoLoad, BlazeMeter, etc. Please share your feedback in comment section, like, subscribe, and share the channel Automation Exercise.